Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook, who do you think is a better fit for the Lakers, and who should they go after?
I think I asked you guys this question.
I would love to see Russell Westbrook in a Lakers uniform, truthfully. Now, obviously, CP3 would run the offense a lot better, but I look at CP3, he's going to be 37 years old.
Westbrook is a juiced-up Dennis Schroeder. I swear to God he is.
And that may or may not be true.
You watched both of them play.
And I don't want Dennis Schroeder anywhere near my team. That being said, we haven't seen a mature Russell Westbrook with a guy of LeBron's caliber, with a guy of AD's caliber. He's not gonna be asked to do what he's had to do in these last few years. After
a guy of
KD,
AD's caliber,
LeBron and AD's caliber play together with both of them. This is a guy that's motor is going on from minute 1 to minute 48. I know I'm gonna get that out of Russ for sure. You need a guy like that on this Lakers team right now that nicks and bruises all across the season last year. You had LeBron go out. You had AD in and out of the lineup all season long. Schroeder missed some time with COVID. You really can't do anything about that. Caruso missed some time. I know Russell Westbrook is a solid, firm player that is going to be there, and when he's on the court, he's going to give it his all. I can't trust these guys like Dennis Schroeder. I've seen it in the playoffs. As bad as you guys may think Russell is, this guy Dennis Schroeder was 50 times worse. But then you get to pair with a guy like with LeBron and Anthony Davis. The things that Russell Westbrook will be able to do for the Lakers. I understand that Chris Paul is an amazing facilitator, a coach on the court. He's 37 years old. He's going to want a lot of money. And I don't see him taking a pay cut to play for the Lakers and play for LeBron. If he wanted to pay with LeBron, he would have done it by now. He would have tried to force his way to go play with LeBron. It hasn't happened yet. A guy like Russell, if we go out and we trade for him, one, he'll have no choice, and two, he's going to play with LeBron and AD. That is just going to solidify that athleticism that we need in order to reach that championship potential, especially when we're going to go against guys in the West like you look at the Jazz where they have Donovan Mitchell, they got Rudy Gobert, a bunch of really good role players in Bogdanovich, Jordan Clarkson. Russell Westbrook is going to be needed in that guard frame where he's going to have to take a job of locking up one of those guys. Not saying he can lock up Donovan Mitchell. He needs to do his part on the defensive side of the ball, and I trust his energy to do that.
I think Dennis Schroeder is a better defender than Russell Westbrook.
From what Dennis Schroeder told me, he's not a winner. And that's what I don't need on my team. He's not a winner.
Well,
he didn't play winning basketball.
You have LeBron. So.
I know LeBron was just supposed to, come on, guys, let's go.
I mean, you called him the top 3 player in the world.
Yeah, I mean.
No, you called him one, actually.
Top 3 players in the world do that. Giannis did that. KD did that. Steph did that.
Yeah, we already had it. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it because we went off on a tangent, and I'm just going to repeat myself. LeBron had an ankle injury, came back 2 games. If you want to hold it to him, sure. That being said, we spoke about it. I'm not going to talk about it again. Dennis Schroeder is not Russell Westbrook. And to put his name in that conversation is flat out disrespectful.
As a defender, no. It's not disrespectful.
No. I'm just saying. No. Agreed. That being said, Schroeder played atrociously in these playoffs. Agreed. And I know Russell is going to give me double of what he did offensively.
Really?
Defense, double offensively. Because Russ still is a facilitator in the sense that he's going to play with AD and LeBron and realize I'm not going to have to score as much. And if there was anyone that's going to change his mindset of, listen, you don't need to be this offensive guy that's going to shoot the ball 20 times, it's LeBron.
I got to hear what he has to say.
I'm in.
I really want to hear what he has to say.
Russell Westbrook is a guy with a great motor with the DUI mindset behind the wheel. Mm-hmm. That's what he is. Russell Westbrook, yeah, he's going to do more on offense than Schroeder. He's also going to shoot way worse as well.
But with
field goal
LeBron
percentage
and AD,
wise,
he's not going to have to.
3-point percentage wise, and the fact that you think that Russell Westbrook at 33 is going to go to the Lakers and say, you know what, I'm not going to take that many shots. I'm going to defer to LeBron and Anthony Davis when he didn't even do that with Kevin Durant.
He was how young?
He didn't do that with Harden.
He was the second best player on the team. Russell would easily come in as the third best.
I don't think he believes that.
Russell Westbrook's mindset.
He has to know it, though.
I don't think he know. I think he believes he's not the third best player.
Come on. At this point in his career, there's no.
Westbrook. He just put up a triple-double.
He can pass the ball. He can rebound the ball. That's what we need. Go ahead. Sorry.
Russell Westbrook believes he's one of the best players in the NBA. I think he believes he's better than Anthony Davis.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe not LeBron.
I think that Russell Westbrook, he's 33. He's not going to change his mindset. and Drew, you're much higher on players changing than I am. You think Ben Simmons is going to change.
Very optimistic.
You think Russell Westbrook's going to change.
Yeah, let's hear who else.
You're a believer in change.
Okay. Yeah, 2 players.
You're
right?
a believer in change.
You're optimistic.
Yeah, sue me.
I'll say this. Russell Westbrook.
And Lonzo.
These are the pros with Westbrook. You get explosiveness, you get the rebounding, you get the slashing ability with Russell Westbrook. The pros with Chris Paul, you get a floor general, a floor spacer, a leader,
Good shooter.
and a great defender. The cons with Paul, his durability and his size, which was a problem for the Suns in these playoffs and in these finals specifically.
Absolutely.
Cons with Westbrook, decision-making, his shooting, and his defense because he's not a good defender.
Used to be. I don't know what happened.
Because of that, it's hard because I don't know which curse I want to be stuck with. I think Chris Paul could be better for the Lakers, but as history shows in the playoffs, in key moments, in key series, Chris Paul breaks down. And now you don't have him anymore. And Russell Westbrook has shown in the playoffs he might as well not even be on the court because he's providing absolutely nothing. He's a liability. And with the team that already has AD, LeBron, would have Russ, you'd have to have floor spacers around Russ. KCP is inconsistent, so who knows, but he has been a very good three-point shooter.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
Personally, for me, I would go with Westbrook. That's just me because I think at 37, Chris Paul is more prone.
You did all
to
that to
break
No,
down.
say.
literally, you say,
You set
I'm
us
more
up.
of a believer. All this, that, and the other, and then you go and you take my pick.
No, because you were acting like you were acting like Russell Westbrook was going to change. I don't think he's going to change. I just think the player that he is honestly he's worse than Paul. But I'm just not taking Paul because I think he's going to get hurt.
I agree.
That's why.
That's another reason.
But
That's why.
But I'm not taking Westbrook because of all the reasons you named. I'm taking Westbrook off the sole fact of durability. That's it.
I can go now.
You can go.
Please.
Yeah.
Every time you do that.
The Lakers have a durability problem. They Anthony Davis is made of bones and brittle. LeBron James, we don't know what he's gonna be.
He is made of bones.
Yeah.
Everyone is. Go ahead.
Pardon me. Weak bones.
There you
Thank
go.
My man. THT is considered untouchable. Caruso's a free agent.
THT would be in the package for Russ, by the way.
Westbrook is due for $40 million, yo.
That's a lot.
$40 million. I think that's for like 2-3 more seasons. So if you get Westbrook, you're going to lock in with Westbrook for about 2-3 seasons. A starting lineup of Westbrook, KCP, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and whoever's at the 5. It sounds good, but me personally, I would much rather the smarter guy, the guy who just helped his team get to the finals off the simple fact that Chris Paul may be 37. He may not have the health issues, but you don't really need him to play that many games in the season because the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. You just need him for the primetime moments, the games in the playoffs. You need him to be that shooter, that good shooter that he is. You need him to hit those free throws when he needs to be that floor general. When LeBron sits down, Chris Paul's still in the game. You don't look like the worst offensive team I've ever seen in my life, in the Lakers, because you guys look terrible when LeBron's off the court.
Agreed.
Chris Paul's on the court now. Now everything can still flow. Chris Paul sits down. LeBron comes in. Everything, you don't miss a beat. They are both one of the two. They have the highest IQs in the league. Two of those guys right there.
For sure.
Anthony Davis. LeBron sits down, Chris Paul gets up. He's still going to get those looks. He's still going to have those finds. Those oops are probably going to be even better because Chris Paul. So I think Westbrook, people don't guard Westbrook. They kind of sit in the paint and just let Westbrook drive. He really can't shoot. People treat him kind of like Ben Simmons, except he's going to actually shoot the ball. His efficiency is poor. He doesn't make good decisions. His IQ is very low. Like you said, he's a poor defender. He does give effort. His motor is very high, but he's just not that guy we think he is. He averaged triple-double, but realistically doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's irrelevant, and he doesn't really do what you need to do in the fourth quarter really matters. So I think Chris Paul is the guy you want to go with just because of the simple fact of the intangibles. Intangibles, help win basketball games. The counting stats look cool for Westbrook. Triple doubles is awesome, but I think the intangibles are what Chris Paul makes Chris Paul, and I think that's what helped the Suns. So I think Chris Paul is the answer.
Very smart. So I think that, look, in order to get both players, I think in order to get both players, I think you need a sign and trade.
Did you just put it in the old machine, the trade machine?
Nah, I just think this will work.
Okay.
I think Schroeder is in a deal with the sign and trade.
Yo, it's just funny. Like,
so the sign and trade would be Schroeder, Kuzma, Horton Tucker, a pick.
What pick?
For, whatever pick.
You have pick. Oh, okay.
A pick. For Westbrook, or it could be for CP3. When I look at Washington, I don't think they can use Schroeder. Maybe they could to fill in Beal's place, but now you're just stuck in mediocrity.
Beal's gone after that.
Kuzma is, he is what he is, right? Talon Horton Tucker is probably like that guy who maybe could become something, maybe he won't. I know somebody who believes he can be a cornerstone for a franchise player. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
I read it too the other day.
I couldn't even defend.
I think they're in a much better position to get Chris Paul because when you look at Phoenix, they're looking at it in a way that, okay, we can get Schroeder back, who can be our starting point guard. We can get Horton Tucker off the bench, be that 2 guard, and now we can have Kuzma off the bench as well. And I think Kuzma is actually better than what he's shown with the Lakers. I think his role really messed him up.
And he's been injured a lot.
But in a better situation in Phoenix, in that culture, I think Kuzma could revitalize his career, and you get that pick. I think Phoenix wins in this trade because Chris Paul wants to leave anyway.
And they get another pick.
Yeah. I think they win because you get Schroeder, who can average 16 a game. Not the playmaker Paul is, but at least you have a solid point guard. Then you have Horton Tucker off the bench. He can play that 2-guard spot. And then Kuzma off the bench as well. Instead of having Saric, you can have Kuzma either come off the bench for at the 4 spot, maybe a small ball 5. So
what about Cam Johnson?
Cam Johnson is there too. So, a bench of THT, Cam Johnson, Saric, Kuzma, and let's say Cam Payne comes back, I think that is pretty solid. They have a better chance of trading for Chris Paul because the Suns are in win now mode. They just made the finals. The Wizards, if you give them this trade package, they're blowing it all up. They're not Beal is gonna want out. Because of that, Washington may be no, I don't want to trade Russ because then Beal is gone, especially for this package. So I think they have a much better shot at trading for Paul.
That trade, Phoenix could rack off about 9-10 guys in rotation. They have 9-10 solid, good players in a sense. So it's just, do you trust Dennis? I think Dennis Schroeder is more of a 6-man type of guy. I don't think he's a starting point guard in the NBA just because he lacks the playmaking, the necessities at the playmaking spot, and he really doesn't pass the ball.
Doesn't have that great of a shot.
Yeah,
either.
I think he's more of a 6-man guy. But, like you said, you get something back. You get a pick, you get Schroeder, you get THT, the guy LA fans believe who he can be I don't know. They think he's the GOAT.
What would be the difference in Kuzma's role in the Lakers as opposed to the Suns?
Oh, shit.
With the Lakers, everything is LeBron reliant.
Everything would be Booker reliant.
Kuzma doesn't have to be the 3rd guy, as he did in LA.
That's debatable. Wouldn't you want to feed Ayton? Let's say Chris Paul's gone, right?
No, I'm saying Phoenix, Kuzma doesn't have to be the 3rd guy.
He would be the 3rd
No,
guy.
he doesn't have to be the 3rd guy.
I understand what you're saying.
LA, he had to be the 3rd guy. The expectations were he needs to be the 3rd guy.
But when we saw Kuzma at his most effective, what number was he in that
That was
sense?
A long time ago.
But he was probably one, at worst 2.
Bad team.
Agreed.
I'll say
when he
this.
was his most effective, he was the primary scorer on the
He had
squad.
no expectations. That's when he was his most effective, when they had no expectations.
So what would really be that difference?
Phoenix off the bench, no expectations.
I would disagree. They just went to a championship. You understand what I'm saying? They
Phoenix
would want a little bit more out of you.
Isn't Booker reliant? They play through Booker in stretches, but they move the ball a lot. They pass the ball a lot.
You think that happens with Schroeder, though?
I think it happens because in Phoenix because of what they have already built in their offense, within their offense. Kuzma in Phoenix, let's say Cam Payne doesn't come back. Now you have THT, Cam Johnson, and Kuzma off the bench, and Saric.
Oh, my goodness.
The only
Scary.
guy who can score and create a shot within those players is Kuzma. With the Suns, Kuzma now has a role. You're our sixth man. Off the bench, you
Just
are
score.
our go-to scorer. Just score. Don't worry about anything else. Just do that.
Jordan Clarkson X.
Something like that.
Something like that. I think Kuzma can do that.
He could play D.
I can do that. I think he can do that.